Open your banking app right now. Look at the number on the screen. That number feels like the truth. It feels like a fact about who you are and what you can afford. But that number is not measuring your wealth. It is measuring something else entirely. And once you see what it actually is, you will never look at your balance the same way again. Here is the paradox. Two people can earn the exact same salary. They can have the exact same expenses. And yet, one of them feels financially secure while the other feels like they are drowning. The difference has almost nothing to do with math. It has to do with a number their mind has quietly memorized without their permission. Most people assume their spending decisions come from logic. You check your balance, you calculate what you can afford, and you make a rational choice. That feels obvious, but your brain does not actually work that way. It does not calculate, it compares. This is where the story gets interesting, because the comparison your brain makes is not between your spending and your income. It is between your current balance and whatever number your brain has already decided is normal for you. Psychologists call this anchoring. In the late 1960s and 1970s, researchers Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman discovered that when people estimate or judge something, they rarely start from zero. They start from a reference point, and every judgment after that is just an adjustment away from it. Ask someone to guess the price of a used car after showing them a high number first, and their guess drifts upward. Show them a low number first, and it drifts downward. The starting point quietly hijacks the outcome. Your bank balance works as exactly that kind of anchor. It is not a measurement of your wealth. It is a reference point your brain uses to decide what feels expensive, what feels affordable, and what feels reckless. A $10 coffee feels irrelevant when your balance says $50,000. The same coffee feels dangerous when your balance says $200. Nothing about the coffee changed, only the anchor did. There is a second layer to this, something the economist Richard Thaler spent decades studying. He called it mental accounting. The idea that people do not treat money as one single, interchangeable resource. Instead, they sort it into separate mental buckets. Rent money feels different from vacation money. A bonus feels different from a paycheck, even though both are simply dollars sitting in the same account. Your brain is not doing accurate bookkeeping. It is running a story about where each dollar belongs, and that story shapes how easily you spend it. Put anchoring and mental accounting together, and you get something powerful. Your bank balance is not just a number. It is a thermostat. It sets the temperature for how safe or how reckless your spending feels, and like any thermostat, it can be recalibrated without you noticing. This explains one of the strangest patterns in personal finance. People get a raise, expecting to finally feel ahead. Within a few months, they feel exactly as tight on money as before. Nothing was stolen from them. No emergency drained the extra income. Their thermostat simply reset. The new, higher number became the new normal, and their spending quietly rose to meet it. Researchers and writers have long referred to this as lifestyle creep, but the more accurate description is that the anchor moved, and behavior followed the anchor, not the income. This is not a modern glitch caused by consumer culture. It shows up throughout economic history. In 1978, psychologists Philip Brickman, Dan Coates, and Ronnie Janoff-Bullman published a now well-known study comparing lottery winners to a general population. The finding that surprised people was not that money failed to help. It was that the initial jump in happiness faded, and winners settled back toward roughly the same emotional baseline they had before the windfall. Their circumstances had changed enormously. Their internal reference point eventually caught up and neutralized it. This links to a concept from psychology called the hedonic treadmill, first proposed by Brickman and Donald Campbell in 1971. The idea is that humans adapt to almost any change in circumstance, good or bad, and drift back toward an internal baseline. Applied to money, this means your bank balance does not just reflect your financial life. It actively recalibrates your expectations, so that whatever you have starts to feel like the minimum you need, rather than the abundance you once dreamed of. Here is where the story becomes personal. If your bank balance is training your brain to treat any given amount as the new normal, then simply earning more will never, by itself, create a lasting sense of financial safety. The number keeps moving the target. This is why some people who earn very high incomes still feel financially anxious, while others with modest incomes feel calm. The anxiety is not about the size of the number. It is about the gap between the number in the account and the number the brain has anchored to as sufficient. There is an old idea from economics that captures this from a different angle. C. Northcote Parkinson, writing in the 1950s, observed that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. Personal finance writers have long applied a version of this same logic to money. Expenses tend to expand to fill the income available for their consumption, not because people are careless, but because the thermostat resets every time the number changes, and comfort simply follows the new setting. So what actually breaks this cycle? The answer is not more income. It is changing what your brain gets to see and adjust to in the first place. This is the exact principle behind one of the oldest pieces of financial wisdom in print. George Clayson's 1926 book, The Richest Man in Babylon, built its entire philosophy around a single instruction: pay yourself first. Move a portion of your income away before you ever see it sitting in your primary balance. The logic is not really about discipline, it is about anchoring. If a portion of your money never appears in the number your brain uses as its reference point, your thermostat never adjusts to include it, and you never feel the pull to spend it. This is why automated transfers into savings or investment accounts work so much better than relying on willpower after the fact. It is not that automation makes you more disciplined, it is that automation controls the anchor. Your brain cannot recalibrate its spending comfort around money it never sees in the account it is comparing against. The same logic explains why separating money into different accounts, for bills, for spending, for savings, tends to work better than keeping everything in one place, even though mathematically it is the exact same total. Multiple smaller anchors are easier to manage than one large number that keeps quietly resetting your sense of what is normal. None of this means the number in your account does not matter. It matters enormously, but it is not measuring your wealth the way you have always assumed. It is measuring and shaping your comfort. It is a moving target your own mind keeps adjusting without asking your permission, and every time your balance changes, your definition of enough quietly changes with it. So, the next time you open your banking app and feel a wave of relief or a spike of anxiety from a single number, pause for a moment. Ask yourself whether you are looking at your actual financial position or whether you are looking at a thermostat your brain built out of habit, one that will happily reset itself the very next time the number moves. The balance on your screen is not lying to you, but it was never telling you what you thought it was.